As you know, I was born and brought up in a country of religious segregation and sectarianism between Protestants and Catholics, and I was born and brought up supporting Rangers Football Club. When you look at the 17th century in Scotland, Islam is very much similar in regards to you wouldn't be able to freely read or write. You wouldn't be able to freely believe what you do, if you understand what I'm saying, to what you can say or do. And you sadly see these extremists stoning women to death, etc., which is just ridiculous to say the least. Islam is just something very much barbaric, in my view. That's my opinion of the matter. Anything that basically prohibits people of liberty, of their individual liberty, pertains to that of collectivism, and that's how I view Islam. Islam is just another branch of socialism, to speak, through the Sharia'h Law, what they would impose on a country. You would end up going under that of something of economic socialism, in other words, right in the direction towards what would be more or less like communism. These are people who despise capitalism. I remember watching a video, and one of the, Islamic extremists came out and said that one of the reasons why he despised Great Britain was simply because of the very fact that he viewed it as capitalism. He viewed it as capitalist. Even although Britain is not capitalist today and we do not live under capitalism, but this is what their views are. Because capitalism gives people individual freedom to freely think. Now, that does not mean to say that all Muslim people are bad or that all Muslim people are the same, because that is most certainly not what I am saying. The immigration crisis, and we saw from the Brexit movement, there are a lot of people seem to believe that the answer is collectivism, as if national collectivism is what is going to protect them from this mass foreign immigration problem. A number of people spreading propaganda to say that individualism would lead to a complete takeover and we would become swarmed by that of those of Islamic extremists, and we would lose our country and our identity because of individualism, and this was what their belief was. What you saw was the mass foreign immigration crisis stem from government. After all, it was Angela Merkel that allowed it to happen, that enabled it to happen, was collectivist. This was against all meaning of individualism. I'm not saying Germany today, economically, is all out collectivist, and they're not as extreme. They're most certainly not as collectivist as what they once were. It doesn't hide the very fact that it was down to the government itself that ignored the people and flooded Germany with the mass foreign immigration problem. And that's the issue, because when these people who support Brexit say to you that individualism would lead to all hell breaking loose and we would end up like Germany, well, there lies the issue, because it was actually down to collectivism that was to blame for that. Individualism, it doesn't necessarily mean to say that you have the free flow of immigration, and it's not something that I personally support. I actually changed my stance on that view, because you have private individual ownership of property, and if you have private ownership of land, etc., you can't just walk freely onto people's property and say or do whatever the hell you like. Someone asked me before, well, Scott, how would you, how would you protect us from the problem that we face with this mass foreign immigration problem with regards to the problem with Islam? The war intervention does not help, right? First understand that, because all you're doing is you're escalating problems. Going in and bombing a country and, causing more death and destruction only creates more resentment. So it's a non-interventionist policy with regards to war. However, what I do personally believe in is that, yes, I do believe your country should be safely, well guarded and protected through strong defence. However, to have a limited small government and that of having a free market with controlled immigration. It's about having individualism where the economy is into the hands of the people of society and not into the hands of a government that goes on the path of its own. And this is the problem with these people who do favour collectivism, because I remember very clearly that one of them said to me that the problem is individualism and what we need is collectivism. In other words, I don't think he really understands that what he's supporting is National Socialism. The other thing, going back to immigration, I'm not someone who believes in shutting off immigration entirely. That's just people who believe that nonsense don't understand the argument. We support having the right type of people who would come and live and work here in this country, who actually benefit in this country. In other words, people who are more than willing to come here and live and work. In any system where it subordinates the rights of individuals, in other words, Christianity today, whether it's Protestantism or Catholicism, the people accept individual rights and individual liberty. That's the difference with Christianity and the Christian, faith today. They accept individual rights and liberty, whereas if you were to compare this to that of Islam, Islam's like the ancient world. It's basically barbaric, where it does not accept that. It's basically trying to impose the will of the collective upon that of the individual. The solution is not collectivism. You will always end up with a self-serving government in the end with regards to that of collectivism in general. And unfortunate as it is to say, it's been a battle enough as it is for the British people to fight in order to get Brexit, because our own British political class, if they had it their own way, we would still be within that European Union and our country would still be getting, well, let's just say, I don't know if they've fixed any problem with immigration as of yet. We can see they're certainly trying to delay that of the European Union, the whole thing with Brexit, or it most certainly did not protect Sweden. A good example of collectivism in that regard was the Swedish politicians. A number of them who said no to the mass foreign immigration were being jailed. The whole thing of political correctness again, calling them racist, etc. The mass foreign immigration problem has had a very big problem on Sweden in general. So anyway, folk, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I would like to see your own personal opinions on everything, what you have to say on the issue. Maybe you have a few things that you would like to add. Feel free to comment in the comment section below. Again, give the video a thumbs up. If you like the video, share the video, favourite the video. And again, thank you for watching the video, and I shall talk to you later. Cheers.